Hi, welcome to Homegrown Harmony. We're just a mother and daughter sharing our story. And today we're going to be talking about coping skills, starting off with sleep. Is that right?
Yes. Because I
Perfect.
feel like that's a major one for so many people.
Oh, yeah.
So it's funny, a lot of people think about like depression and stuff like that, especially after having maybe like postpartum depression. And they just assume that it's all about hormones, and a lot of times it's about the lack of sleep. But that's a big part of why you're going through that. I mean, obviously hormones are part of it because your body's going through a lot, but you're also getting up every 2 to 3 hours, and you're really messing with the circadian rhythm, and you're messing with your REM sleep. So with sleep, it's been shown that if you get to your 7th REM cycle, which takes about 7 to 8 hours to do, you actually have a better mental health outlook, and you have a better ability to like deal with high stress situations and be able to recall information. There's a host of things that comes with being able to get that much sleep. So the biggest thing with sleep is making sure that you are doing what's necessary to get that 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Ironically enough, we were talking about last night and about how we needed to start really making sure that we're going to bed at a good hour so that we can get up and get things done. So for me, it's really about taking that priority at night to go, okay, it's bedtime. I need to go to bed. When I was in school, I learned about like the circadian rhythm and the REM cycles and all that kind of stuff. And I learned about like creating better sleep habits. And so we had an assignment where we had to set a goal. And I set a goal to work on having better sleep habits. And so something I did was I started charging my phone in another room, and I started turning off my stop using electronic devices after a certain time. And oh my gosh, it was like a night and day difference. You know, it's so funny because I was one of those, I don't know how people fall asleep at night kind of people, you know? And come to find out, well, I can fall asleep. It's just, I was putting myself in a position where my body wasn't doing it on its own. Whereas when I make the priority of having that all in place, I can get that sleep. And when I get that sleep, I am a totally different human being.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it's a huge part of mental health is making sure that your brain is functioning at a level where you can deal with stress and all the different things. So, do you have anything to add to it?
I don't think so. Not to that topic. You covered pretty much everything.
Okay, so another one, exercise. I also used to be like a loather of exercise. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so boring, or I don't have the capacity to do it. All the excuses. I had injuries that were issues. I tore the ligaments in my shoulder when I was like 20 years old. And so that was an issue. And then I had lower back issues for a long time, 8 years. And I actually had a discectomy on my lower back in 2018. So, you know, all of those things were excuses and reasons why I didn't do it on the regular. And I had to really make an effort. I had to start out small. I had to learn how to adjust the exercises to me. And I started out with the Jillian Michaels exercise. I did it every day, and I did it for 30 days. It was actually Jillian Michaels' 30-day program or whatever. And after that, I was like way more consistent in doing it. I saw the effects it had on me. Again, I learned about like how helpful it is for your sleep to do weightlifting and cardio on a regular basis. And then, you know, it also helps with your endorphins and stuff for your mental health. And since then, like, I go back and forth. Sometimes I'm not great at managing doing my exercise, but I know that it's important in my mental health. And so when I'm like, when I'm starting to feel like, oh my gosh, my life is spiraling, what's going on? I was like, I have not been working out. I have not been making a priority of taking care of myself. I need to make sure I'm doing that.
Yeah, and I've also noticed that same pattern in my life. And it's funny that you bring up like that you used to hate working out, because I was along that same lines. Like I never liked it, but then I started figuring out how to work out in a way that I liked it, and I haven't been able to work out the past 2 weeks. Not because of like holidays or anything like that, but simply because I've just been sick, and so like I didn't want to like stall my recovery. Yeah. And so, like, I have been itching to get back to working out. Like, I wanted to work out this morning, but then I just woke up and I had a massive headache, and, like, my sinuses were just a mess. And so I was like, nope, not today. But, yeah, I love working out now, and I am itching to get back to it.
Yeah. And just, like, doing stuff like yoga is extremely helpful. Being able to stretch it can really help with your mental health and
it also like
breathing and everything.
And doing stretches in yoga on your period helps with cramps.
Yeah,
I've never actually done it and tested it out because usually when I have the worst cramps is also I have bad cramps, so I just want to curl up with a heating pad in my bed, which is what I usually do. So I've never tested it out, but like I've heard it's supposed to help.
Anyway, so exercise. Also, there's like long-term studies that show that people that exercise regularly and weightlift actually live longer and are less likely to have Alzheimer's or early onset Alzheimer's. They usually last a lot longer before they start having the effects of Alzheimer's. So there's a lot of other things that are benefits to it besides just like taking care of yourself and in the moment type of stuff.
Well, and I think about your mom, my grandma, she doesn't like work out necessarily, like she doesn't do weightlifting, but she has had a job for a very long time that's required her to walk a lot, because she was working in a hospital, and her sleep has always been fairly consistent, and she's like 70 now at this point or something, and I think she turned 70 like last year, I think. And she's still functioning on her own. She has never had to be in a nursing home, and she's still fully functioning and stuff and doesn't have any issues.
She's in really good physical health. She does do some, like, she'll do some workouts.
Yeah, but it's walking stuff. It's not weights.
I've introduced her to some stuff. I'll like send her messages and be like, you should try this one.
Yeah, and she loves them.
Yeah, but she we went to DC and she walked around with us and
she was in better shape than some of us kids were. She was like, "Come on, guys," and I was like, "No, Grandma, I don't want to. My legs hurt."
There's a lot of walking in DC.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay, so next thing, prayer and meditation. They're very similar, or they are the same, depending on how you want to look. Yeah, on your religious outlook on life and stuff, but I find it extremely helpful to do prayer and meditation. Oftentimes in my deep stretches after working out, I take a few minutes to do what yoga, like I don't know the phrase that they use in yoga because I don't
do yoga,
practice it enough to.
Yeah.
I mean, I've followed enough to do the deep stretching yoga stuff, but you lay on your back with your palms up and you do deep breathing at the end of yoga, and I'll do that oftentimes and take 3 or 4 minutes where I just deep breathe, don't put a lot of thought into I try not to let my mind go crazy, and just really be centered on my breathing and getting myself grounded and whatnot, and that really helps with the rest of the day. When I do that, I can feel a difference in like my mental state and being able to deal with everything. So and then obviously religiously prayer, being able to pray for gratitude as well as for help, and then also like knowing that you have that support system with your faith can really be helpful too.
Yep, absolutely.
So next one is mindfulness techniques. If you do not know what mindfulness is, I really hope that you take the time to research it and practice it and learn more about it, because I did not know much about it until I became an adult. I learned first about it when I worked in residential treatment, what they would do in group settings and stuff like that. And it was really interesting to see. There's a lot of different techniques that you can do with mindfulness, but it's all about like taking the time to like really process what's going on in that moment in your life. And you can do it with a lot of things. When I was learning about it in school, they had us do an assignment where we had to use mindfulness in our everyday activities. And one of the things was like eat an orange and process how it feels to eat the orange and think about the orange while you ate it. And it was very interesting because I enjoyed that orange way more than I would have ever enjoyed an orange ever in my life, because I sat and I took the time to like really process through it and like use my
all your senses.
Yeah,
and all your
all of everything to create like, what does the orange feel like, and what does it look like, and is it like, yeah. And after that, I like really realized, no wonder like I've been an emotional eater like a majority of my adult life, and I realized that some of that comes from the fact that I don't really take that time to enjoy the food. And so sometimes I'll have a cookie. Well, not sometimes. I do this a lot. I'll have a cookie and I will not enjoy the cookie. And then like 10 minutes later, I want a cookie because I didn't enjoy it the first time. So like if I find that when I take that time to use the mindfulness to recognize something and I enjoy it in that moment and like really use those skills, I'm more likely to engage in that and enjoy it fully, which helps create that dynamic of happiness and whatnot for mental health.
Yep.
Any thoughts?
No, you're really covering everything.
You're just over there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nutrition. Do you want to share how your experiences with nutrition?
I do, because it's funny because I was having a conversation with my dance instructor, and when I started dance in August, there was like she sat us down and she said, all right, you guys, like you have to take care of your bodies, you have to be working out, you have to be reading your Bible, and you have to take care of your nutrition. And I said, okay. And I was really good at reading scriptures for the most part. Working out kind of fell in and out, but like what I eat is the one thing that has been consistent through all the things I've gone through the past 6 months. But I used to not be that way, like at all. And like you can testify that, like especially when I started going through puberty, like I had like no motivation at night. And you know, when you go through puberty, you already start like gaining weight anyway. So for me, it was just like I didn't see a reason not to just eat a bunch of snacks. And so, but I've learned a lot now. And so, yeah, I don't know. You just like start talking about things you had in mind, and I'll just add my thoughts as we go. Because like when you actually ask me to like talk about it,
yeah,
what do I talk about?
So with nutrition, like there's a lot of different aspects that can help with your mental health. Oftentimes when we're hungry, it causes issues with our mental health. Also, so your blood sugar level will spike and come down according to what you're eating and how much you eat and all that kind of stuff. But also, protein tends to help control your blood sugar and help it stay level. And if you're not eating enough protein and your blood sugar goes out of whack, that tends to be what a lot of people call hangry. I had a child that was very much like this, get moody about everything. And I had learned about this and how protein helped level that all out. And I realized that he wasn't a meat eater when he was younger. He didn't like, unless it was a corn dog or something like that, he wasn't going to eat a lot of meat.
He loved mac and cheese.
Yeah.
He did not like meat.
Mac and cheese. That's what he wants all the time.
Still, yeah.
Yeah. So we really made a concerted effort to give him protein as snacks, breakfast. So we would give him protein shakes, and we would give him string cheese and yogurt, and we got him nuts for a snack. If we could find a protein bar that he liked, we would try to give that to him. But we really tried to make sure that he had a good amount of protein the first part of the day, so that it kind of set him up. and it
Yep.
made a huge difference in his moods and his ability to like deal with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Was a big deal, and that alone right there, what can make a difference in how you're dealing with everybody else around you and how you're dealing with yourself, and that is huge.
And then from the other perspective of that whole protein thing, for me is I don't have that problem as much. Like I notice it every now and then, like when I get really hungry, I can get moody. But I don't notice it quite as much. But for me, as far as it goes with breakfast, I really try to have protein in my breakfast. Part of it is because with sugary breakfast, I've learned that when you have sugar first thing in the morning, then your body like starts to crave it more throughout the day. But then also having that solid like protein and like just having that good source of protein makes it last long until I need lunch. Like if I just like for example, yesterday I wasn't feeling good when I woke up, and so I was like, I just need to put something in my stomach so I can take some medicine. And so I had cereal, and I was like, I'm probably going to be hungry in a little bit. I had that bowl of cereal probably around 8:30, and I was hungry again by like 10. And so I ended up having to eat some more food like before I went to church or whatever. And so yeah, I don't know, what was my thought? I've lost
Protein.
it. Yes, protein.
Protein.
Having protein in the morning is very important, and I try to make that a goal for like every meal too. But specifically, like I'm very picky about what I eat for breakfast, which makes it really hard sometimes, as you know,
Yes.
because then I want to see anything, which is like good, but then it's like then I won't eat anything. So
They have to have some variety too, because
yeah, because then like I'll get stuck on something, and then like okay, I'm like, oh, okay, this is a good breakfast. I enjoy eating this, and then I eat it 4 times a week, and then I get sick of it, and then I'm like, well, guess we're back to square one.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, I want to start trying to make some parfaits. I'm gonna experiment with parfaits.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, so also with nutrition, we often think of like just what we eat when it comes to nutrition, but oftentimes there's other ways to help your body get the nutrition it needs. So
and
for
it's
example,
like think about a plant though. Like they don't have just, I mean, they don't have food. Period. They have other things,
Yeah.
and so
So you like Epsom salts, being able to get that for your magnesium because you don't actually produce magnesium.
What?
You have to give yourself magnesium, and a lot of people, especially in this day and age, do not eat stuff that has a lot of magnesium in it.
Yeah.
So Epsom salt baths is a great way to do that. It also helps you detox a lot of the stuff in your body that you need to get rid of. It helps you with your muscles and your joints and everything, and it will help you sleep because of it. And then also vitamin D and getting in the sun. Making sure that you're getting your kids outside and playing can really help all of those things. So,
which is also a big reason why, it's not the biggest reason, but it does. That is what plays a part in why everyone gets so sick in the winters, because no one's outside, no one's going to pools, no one's outside playing, and then you don't have that source of vitamin D.
Yeah, and when everybody locks up everything inside a house where there's not fresh air and the germs just keep circulating. Fantastic. And then water. Drinking lots of water.
See, I'm really good about eating food. Water is my kryptonite though. Like I'm not good about drinking water unless like I'm in like a dance rehearsal or something like that, and like I'm sweating and I'm getting really thirsty. Then I'll drink and I'll drink water. But otherwise,
I try to make a concerted effort to drink like a good glass of water first thing, like a big cup of water,
which is where the advice that everyone gives is like always have like a glass of water in the morning, and I'm like, okay, and I don't do it.
And then I drink a lot of water while I'm working out. So usually like halfway through the day, I've consumed probably a good 5 to 6.
Yes, I definitely drink more water in a day when I work out than when working out.
So yeah. Nutrition, I think that
it's all combined. It's all.
I mean, there's a lot of other things we could go into, like vegetables and all that kind of stuff.
But I do want to say that for me, I noticed when I had theater in September and October, I was packing a lot of meals and I was constantly like out of the house, and so I was having 3 really good meals every day, and I'd pack like a little treat, like maybe like a few M&Ms or like maybe like a bar of chocolate, but like that was it. That's all I was having as far as a treat in the day. I was having 3 really good meals, and when they went back to measure me, because they have to measure me for my dance costumes, all my measurements had gone down 2 inches. And I've noticed like that like my stomach has started getting smaller and that I've lost a lot of weight. And I think the biggest reason for that is because I haven't been able to snack when I'm at home. I haven't been able to have a lot of treats. Right. And so like all I eat is like the bare minimum of like I have 3 good meals when I'm hungry and then like 1 little treat. And sometimes I might pack like a bag of like chips or whatever, but like I wasn't able to be at home and have like grab some pretzels because like the toddler loves pretzels, and so like she'll have them out on the table and I'm like, oh, let me just grab a pretzel or 5 and just keep snacking on those. And so like when I'm not at home, I don't have access to that, and so that definitely is a part of the game changer. And then because I had that for 2 months, when I came out of theater and I have been at home a little bit more, I already have those habits in place, and so it's been a lot easier for me to not snack and for me to not have as many treats. Unless, of course, like, you know, it's holidays and stuff, then I'm like, ooh, I want some pie, and ooh, I want some candy, and all this stuff. And then that's when I get sick.
I was eating chocolate before this, and then I convinced her to get some too.
Which I shouldn't have done because I'm still sick right now. No, because I'm not kidding, though, because I literally got sick the day before Thanksgiving, and I got sick Christmas Eve. Coincidence? Coincidence around the holidays and all that sugar that I had in my body? I think not.
It's not. You are correct.
Yeah. That's a whole other conversation.
That was a very long, regular conversation in our house the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The toddler now thinks everything makes her sick. Because I tried to give her a little piece of chocolate, and she was like, nope, it'll make me sick. And I was like, okay. I'm not going to argue
well,
with
because when I got sick on Christmas Eve, then I gave it to her, and so she got sick. And she had a bunch of sugar the same day that she got sick. And so everyone was telling her, like, you shouldn't have eaten that candy. Like, she would have still gotten sick anyway just because I would have passed it on to her. But I think that made it worse.
It definitely makes it harder to fight it.
Exactly. And so then she was like, junk food makes you sick. And now that's, like, all she says. It's really funny. Yeah. But I mean, she's not entirely wrong.
No, she's not. Okay, so the last thing.
This one's a hard one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Self-compassion and the things that you say to yourself. There's actually studies out there that show that people that have depression do not talk to themselves nicely.
Dang. That's crazy.
So making sure that you're having some positive affirmations. If you need to put some on in the mirror and you say them every day. Tell yourself stuff when you're getting ready in the morning. When you put on your clothes, say, hey, I look good in this outfit. Things like that. Yeah, just self-care in the idea that you're taking care of the way your brain thinks about yourself.
Yeah, it really does make a huge difference. And it's something I struggle so much with.
Yeah. So those are the ones that I wanted to cover today. These were all, so several years ago, well, not really several years ago, 2019.
That's 6 years.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Was it 2000? No, it was 2020 because it was the year of the pandemic.
So 5 years ago.
So I did a presentation on this to a bunch of single adults. And I have a what's it called? A Google Sheets. Or not Sheets. Google
Doc?
Not Doc. What's the other one?
Slides?
Slides. There we go. Google Slide with the presentation. So if anyone wants that, I have it. It actually goes through this and like talks a little bit about like REM cycle and all that kind of stuff. And I called it the self-care big account, I think is what I called it. I don't remember.
That's cool. I want it.
Anyway, and it gives you like it goes more into like the religious parts of things.
Yeah, because these were single adults
at church. So I went through a lot of that kind of stuff. But if anybody wants that, it kind of goes into the science behind the different parts and
that's cool.
Religious parts of everything and whatnot. So
yeah, so leave us a comment and we'll send it to you.
All right. Thanks.
We'll see you next week. Bye.